It's really retired.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Hey, natural gas leaks can be very dangerous if you're not careful.
A tip from your friends at MANGO, Missouri's Association of Natural Gas Operators.
If you smell the odor of natural gas, leave it to the professionals to track it down. Don't turn any electrical appliances on or off. Cell phones or light switches can create a dangerous spark. Warn others and leave the building immediately. Make sure you call your gas company from another location.
Learn more natural gas safety tips at mosafegas.com.
News Talk 1560 AM, 94.1 FM, KTUI, Sullivan. It's 6 o'clock. Good morning. This is KTUI Radio, beginning a new day of broadcasting. KTUI is owned and operated by Merrimack Area Broadcasting, LLC of Sullivan, Missouri. Broadcast facilities are located at 900 Elmont Road in Sullivan. KTUI is authorized by the Federal Communications Commission to operate on an assigned frequency of 1560 kilohertz on the AM band and K231CP, an FM translator frequency of 94.1 megahertz. The assigned power for KTUI AM is 1,000 watts, and the power for the FM translator is 250 watts. We invite you to tune in daily to AM 1560 or 94.1 FM for the latest news, weather, and information. And now the U.S. Coast Guard Band with our national anthem.
This is By the Way. It was quite a hit some years ago by a singer named Bobby McFerrin. Don't worry, be happy. You might remember it. It was upbeat and positive. But many thought it was just too simplistic and unrealistic. After all, how can one not worry and how can one be happy all the time? In real life, it just doesn't work that way. But here's a passage from the Bible that sounds pretty similar. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. The difference, of course, is that there is a loving God who can remove some of life's worry and increase some of life's joy. Don't worry, be happy. This is By the Way.
Good morning to you. 3 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock on a Monday morning. And I'm Sam Scott. Glad to have you along with me here this morning. Let's check in with our weather, find out what it's going to be like. I think it's going to be pretty nice.
From the KTUI WeatherBug Weather Center for this morning, expecting mostly clear skies. Sunny and hot this afternoon, a high temperature of 90 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 63. Tuesday, sunny and warm, a high temperature of 88. Tuesday night, mostly clear, a low of 62. On Wednesday, mostly sunny, a high temperature of 86. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 63. And Thursday, partly sunny, a high temperature near 80. For KTUI, I'm Andrew Brady.
Thank you, Andrew. 4 minutes now past 6 o'clock, 68 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. And let's see, let's take a look at what our sun is going to do today. It's going to rise at 6:57. It's going to set at 6:55. That gives us a day length today of 11 hours and 58 minutes. And on Monday, the 27th of September in 2019, we had a record high of 92 degrees. 1926, the low high was 52 degrees. And in 1940, our record low was 36. On this date in 1998, we had our high low of 72 degrees. And those are your highs and lows for today. Some folks with birthdays today: Natalie Bell, Andrew I, Sandy Coppage, and it looks like Chase Perschbacher's 14 today. Coming up at 7:30 this morning, I'm supposed to talk with U.S. Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer. He's Missouri's 3rd District. And then at 8:30, I think Brady Vasali is filling in for Cliff Thexton this morning for the Fraternal Order of Eagles. And then at 9:10 this morning, from Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital, we've got the athletic trainers and Mateo Barausi, I'm not sure how, we'll find out how to pronounce his name. And I can't even say that name. Emily Fedderson, and they're athletic trainers for Sullivan and Cuba, I believe, for the schools. So that's what we've got on tap for you today. What can you celebrate today? Well, this is Ancestor Appreciation Day. This is Family Day. Oh, this is my day. Morning Show Host Day. All right. It's about time I got some recognition, huh? National Chocolate Milk Day, National Corned Beef Hash Day. This is National Crush a Can Day, National Gay Men's HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, and World Tourism Day. All right, there you go. It's coming up on 7 minutes past the hour of 6 o'clock. Again, 68 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. And here's news from the USA Radio Network.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas admitted on Fox News Sunday that the vast majority of Haitian migrants who illegally crossed the border in recent weeks have been released into the United States.
Approximately, I think it's about 10,000 or so, 12,000.
Have been released?
Yes.
The House will vote Thursday on a Senate-passed bipartisan infrastructure bill, pushing back an original planned vote for Monday. Lawmakers will still debate the bill on the House floor Monday, but actual voting will take place 30 September. A team of investigators from the National Transportation Safety Board was at the site of an Amtrak derailment in north-central Montana that killed 3 souls and left 7 hospitalized Sunday. The westbound Empire Builder was en route from Chicago to Seattle when it left the tracks about 4 p.m. Saturday near Joplin. That's a town of about 200 citizens near the Canadian border. Thanks for listening. This is USA Radio News.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/find. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I, live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/find. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/find. That's ZipRecruiter.com/find.
As the government continues to get larger and larger, a new office is proposed to investigate UFOs and determine if they're a threat to the United States. Jeremy Scott from the Oregon USA Radio News Bureau has the details.
If the 2022 National Defense Authorization Act is enacted, a new office would have to be created no later than 180 days to investigate unidentified flying objects. In a defense funding bill passed by the House of Representatives, includes a provision that would establish the office to investigate sightings in the skies. It would also evaluate links between such phenomena and foreign governments, try to figure out whether these sightings serve as a threat to the United States, and report on the phenomena each year to Congress, with the first report due no later than December 31st, 2022. The office would replace a task force established last year by the Pentagon.
There will be a rocket launch today at 2:12 p.m. Eastern from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. It will deliver an Earth monitoring satellite. USA Radio News.
Lights out. Everybody.
Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet.
Pleasant dreams.
The greatest radio shows of all time, USA Classic Radio Theater, on these radio stations or on demand by searching USA Classic Radio Theater. USA Classic Radio Theater.
As President Biden's open border policy has created a crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border, Tom Homan, former ICE director on Fox News, says it's just another distraction when Biden attacks Border Patrol agents.
I talked to 9 retired Chief Patrol agents. I talked to 2 retired CBP commissioners. I talked to 5 chiefs of Border Patrol that were national chiefs, the same position that Raul Ortiz has now. Every one of them, 100% of them, said they did not violate policy, they did not violate regulations, they did their job. But and now they're being, thrown on the bus by this administration. It's a shame that the men and women who wear that uniform and put their lives on the line for this country are now being attacked for doing their job. President Biden's decisions, the Secretary Mayorkas' decisions, put them in this position, and they did their job. No one wants to talk about the fact that the Haitians are committing a crime entering the country illegally. It's a violation of federal law to enter this country. It's a crime. It's a violation of Title 8, United States Code 1325. And when they oppose, when they resist arrest, like you saw in the video, that is a felony. Title 18, United States Code 111. But no one wants to talk about the crime being committed, and these law enforcement officers who have the job to enforce that crime, stop that crime, are being attacked.
An Atlas V rocket will launch from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California Monday with the Landsat 9 Earth observation satellite. Launch is scheduled for 2:12 p.m. Eastern. I'm Lance Pry, USA Radio News.
The OBGYN you choose matters. They will be by your side to guide you through the important stages of life, from puberty to childbirth to menopause and everything in between. Choose healthcare you can trust from the experts at BJC Medical Group, located right here in your community at Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital. Visit MissouriBaptistSullivan.org. Your appointment with one of our board-certified OBGYNs. Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital, your best medicine close to home.
This moment in history brings with it the chance to advance yourself while protecting our community. At BJC, you'll belong to a world-class healthcare system that offers tuition reimbursement available your first day, schedule flexibility, and 30,000 remarkable colleagues. You'll feel the unity and opportunity and find strength within. Apply now at bjcopportunity.org. Sign-on bonuses available.
News, I'm Bill Wise. The Missouri Supreme Court has scheduled a hearing for next week about the state's referendum process in an effort to overturn an 8-week abortion ban.
Last December, a Cole County Circuit Court ruled that Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft unconstitutionally delayed the American Civil Liberties Union's collection of signatures attempting to overturn the 2019 regulations. By the time Ashcroft approved the proposed referendum's official title, the ACLU had 2 weeks to gather 100,000 signatures required to get the issue on the ballot. The state appealed the case. The court hearing will be Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. in Jefferson City. Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt's lawsuit heads to court this week that attempts to ban Columbia Public Schools and any school district in the state from requiring masks. During tomorrow morning's hearing in Boone County, the American Civil Liberties Union of Missouri will ask the court to let it intervene in the case. Tony Rothert, the ACLU's director of advocacy, says Schmidt's lawsuit ignores students with disabilities.
They have a right to go to school. Masking right now is one of those tools. It's necessary for the school districts to comply with federal law, that they have that tool.
Schmidt argues that parents and families should be the ones to decide if their children should wear masks in school. The Missouri Sexual Assault Task Force's final public hearing is scheduled for this week.
The 13-member statewide task force is looking for ways to improve the handling and response to sexual assaults in Missouri. The fourth and last virtual hearing is Tuesday from 1 to 3 p.m. on the Missouri Department of Public Safety's website. State officials say victims and those affected by sexual assault can share information about their experience with the criminal justice system. They are also seeking public comments through an online survey. Brent Palm, Missouri Net.
You're listening to the latest news on Missouri Net.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. If you live in Missouri, we're for you.
The United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and the largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. The USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal agencies with free safety equipment donations and officer survival training, along with cash donations to families of law enforcement officers who perish in the line of duty, college scholarships for the children of law enforcement, a citizen awareness program, and more. For more information on the USDSA and how you can help, visit usdeputy.org.
This is the Missouri Military Minute.
I'm Ashley Bird. Missouri's 4th District Congresswoman Vicki Hartsdorf had a key role in passing the National Defense Authorization Act in the U.S. House for fiscal year 2022.
That's the most important pieces of legislation that we passed. I am the ranking member of Tactical Air and Land Forces Subcommittee. We oversee all the acquisition for the Army and the Air Force and the tactical air assets for the Marines and the Navy. It's a huge portfolio, and I'm very proud of the work we do there. We're going to try to get some more F-18s in the budget. We're going to continue to fund the F-15s. Both made here in St. Louis, Boeing, and make sure that we have adequate ammunition from the Lake City Ammunition Plant that's just outside of Kansas City. But just in a broader picture, making sure that our men and women in uniform have what they need to meet the threat, especially from China. That is something I'm very focused on.
When it comes to your finances, you need a team you can trust. Someone who can help you through any situation. A local community bank you can depend on. At First State Community Bank, we are that partner. And because we're committed to Sullivan, you won't have to worry about changes to your accounts or locations. Come see me, Jordan Cobb, in Sullivan today. My team and I are excited to partner with you. We'll make the process of switching banks quick and easy.
First State Community Bank, member FDIC, online at fscb.com.
Life changes, sugar changes, predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. So when it comes to your financial goals, our philosophy at Edward Jones is don't prevent, prevent. Edward Jones financial advisor Don McCain. A job loss, change in health, the loss of a loved one can have a big impact on a family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for what life throws at you. Call us at 573-468-6046 or visit edwardjones.com to learn more. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol reported a fatality accident in St. Charles County at 6:50 p.m. yesterday on northbound US 67 north of Richard Drive. 55-year-old Shelley N. Connor of Alton, Illinois, was driving a 2014 Toyota Highlander. Shot off the left side of the road while struck a tree. She was transported to St. Louis University Hospital by large helicopter where she was pronounced deceased. A 15-year-old girl who was a passenger of the vehicle had serious injury. She was transported to St. Louis Children's Hospital by Christian Hospital EMS. There was a fatal accident in Marion County at 12:20 p.m. yesterday on US 61 in Palmyra, north of West Main Cross. 31-year-old Kyle S. Bowman of Bowling Green was driving a 2016 Ford F-450 ambulance. 93-year-old Willard W. Levert of Middleton was driving a 2016 Ford Escape. They were both southbound on US 61. The Ford Escape attempted to make a left turn in front of the ambulance. A passenger in the Levert vehicle, 87-year-old Gloria J. Levert of Middletown, was taken by Marion County Ambulance to Blessing Hospital in Quincy, where she was pronounced deceased. 93-year-old Willard Levert of Middletown had serious injuries. He was taken by Marion County Ambulance to Blessing Hospital in Quincy for treatment. There was a fatal accident yesterday at 3:15 a.m. in Jasper County on Route JJ, a mile south of Carl Junction. 33-year-old Russell T. Asbell of Carl Junction was driving a 1993 Jeep Wrangler, ran off the roadway, struck a post, overturned, and ejected the driver. He was pronounced deceased at Freeman West Hospital. A 17-year-old girl was killed. 4 others were seriously injured in a crash in Jefferson County overnight. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, 5 teens were in a 2013 Ford Fusion going northbound on Carroll Park Road north of Woodland Drive early yesterday morning. Around 1:45 a.m., the driver went off the roadway, hit a tree and a utility pole before coming to a stop. The 17-year-old girl from Cedar Hill was pronounced dead on the scene. The 4 other teens, 2 males and 2 females, were seriously injured in the crash. Investigators say the driver was the only one wearing a seatbelt. The Highway Patrol reported a motorcycle accident in Franklin County at 8:11 p.m. yesterday on eastbound Missouri 30 west of Thunderbird Court. 67-year-old Larry J. Hood of Robertsville was riding a 2014 Harley-Davidson Heritage Softail Classic. He was traveling westbound on Missouri 30. The 2005 Dodge Ram, driven by 54-year-old Sheila Armstrong of Aurora, Illinois, was traveling eastbound on Missouri 30. A motorcycle crossed the center line. The front of the motorcycle struck the front left of the Dodge Ram, ejecting the rider. The motorcycle then traveled off the right side of the roadway. 67-year-old Larry J. Hood of Robertsville had serious injuries. He was taken to Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis by air evac helicopter. There was an accident in Jefferson County at 9:47 a.m. yesterday at eastbound Old Highway M at I-55. A 2006 Peterbilt, driven by 57-year-old Philip L. King of Sullivan, was traveling in the eastbound lane of Route M, approaching the I-55 intersection. A 2014 Ford Focus, driven by 25-year-old Samantha J. Pope of Union, was stopped on the ramp of northbound I-55 at Route M, preparing to make a left turn onto westbound Route M. The driver of the Peterbilt failed to stop at the electric signal. The front of his vehicle struck the left side of the Ford Focus. The impact caused the Focus to travel off the north side of the road and strike a metal guardrail. 25-year-old Samantha J. Pope of Union had minor injuries. She was transported to Mercy Hospital, Jefferson by Rock Township Ambulance District. There was an accident in Franklin County on Saturday on Missouri 100 east of Missouri 185. 69-year-old Michael J. Perrin of New Haven was driving a 2009 Ford Focus, traveling westbound on Missouri 100 east of Missouri 185. The driver stated his vision was obstructed by the sun. The vehicle traveled off the right side of the roadway, struck several small trees. 65-year-old Patricia Warren of New Haven, a passenger, had minor injuries and was taken to Mercy Hospital in Washington by Washington Ambulance. There was an accident in Franklin County at 6:15 p.m. on Route FF at Project Road. 55-year-old Robert J. Schmidt of Eureka was driving a 2013 Volkswagen Jetta, traveling westbound on Project. A 2017 Toyota RAV4, driven by 34-year-old Jason M. Schatz of St. Clair, was traveling southbound on Route FF. The driver of the Jetta failed to stop for a posted stop sign and struck the RAV4. 34-year-old Jessica M. Schatz of St. Clair, a passenger in the RAV4, had minor injuries. She was taken to Mercy Hospital in Washington by St. Clair Ambulance. 56-year-old Michelle D. Schmidt, a passenger in the Jetta. She was from Eureka. She had minor injuries and was taken to Mercy Hospital in St. Louis by St. Clair Ambulance. There was an accident in Phelps County at 11:56 a.m. Saturday on Highway BV 5 miles east of Rolla. 58-year-old Barbara S. Underwood of Rolla was driving a 2007 Chevrolet Silverado, stopped in the road, began backing up. She was struck in the rear by a 2007 Chevrolet Cobalt driven by a 16-year-old male juvenile from Rolla. He had minor injuries and was to seek his own treatment. The Highway Patrol made an arrest in Phelps County at 5:32 p.m. yesterday. 48-year-old Charles C. Eves of St. James was arrested on felony Phelps County warrant for passing a bad check, Polk County warrant for passing a bad check, and for driving while suspended. He was taken to the Phelps County Jail and was bondable. 2:54 a.m. yesterday in Franklin County, 46-year-old Gregoria Santa Maria of Sullivan was arrested on a patrol charge of driving while intoxicated. He was taken to the Franklin County Jail for a 12-hour hold. Yesterday at 1:45 a.m. in Crawford County, 28-year-old Sean C. Myers of Cuba was arrested for DWI first offense and failure to drive on the right half of the roadway. He was released. At 10:31 p.m. on Saturday in Franklin County, 24-year-old Brett M. Fulkerson of Union was arrested on a patrol charge of driving while intoxicated. He was taken to the Franklin County Jail and later released. At 8:24 p.m. on Saturday in Montgomery County, 19-year-old Elizabeth M. Davis of Pacific was arrested on an O'Fallon Police Department misdemeanor warrant for no insurance. He was taken to the Montgomery County Jail and was bondable. At 4:34 p.m. on Saturday in Washington County, 23-year-old David L. Griggs of Potosi was arrested on a Potosi Police Department failure to appear for no driver's license. He was taken to the Washington County Jail and was bondable. At 11:30 a.m. on Saturday in Jefferson County, 57-year-old Philip L. King of Sullivan was arrested on a patrol charge of failure to register as a sex offender, non-compliant, 2 counts. He was taken to the Jefferson County Jail and later released. Franklin County Prosecuting Attorney Matthew Becker has charged 21-year-old Noah A. Cook of Gerald with 1 count of second-degree rape, a Class D felony, and 1 count of second-degree sodomy, also a Class D felony. Due to the nature of the allegations, the victim's name is not being released by police. In the probable cause statement, a Gerald police officer said he was contacted by the victim's mother around 4:30 p.m. The victim had reportedly told her father that she'd been raped while she was asleep in the home in the 600 block of South Main Street in Gerald, also where Cook resides. Cook, who was taken into custody, was initially held on a $50,000 cash-only bond. According to court records, his bond was later reduced to a $20,000 surety bond. He's been ordered to have no contact with the victim and to not come within 10 miles of Gerald. The hearing has been set in this case for Wednesday, October 6th. The Sullivan C2 School District Board of Education meeting will be held this evening at 7 p.m. in the state of Sullivan for the Sullivan. Celebrating the American Red Cross for West Rise at the Sullivan Team Sullivan, a secret one and 35, that is resident from 1 until 6 p.m. School Authority Red Cross White.org and Sullivan Technical Equipment, all 11 a.m. Tuesday at First Baptist Church in Sullivan. Burial will follow with full military honors at the Cherryville Baptist Cemetery. Visitation for Homer Britton will be from 4 until 8 p.m. this evening at First Baptist Church in Sullivan. Memorial contributions may be given in Homer's memory to First Baptist Church of Sullivan. All arrangements under the direction of the Eaton Funeral Home of Sullivan. Howard Iron Man Davis of Owensville passed away Monday at the age of 75. Funeral mass will be held Tuesday at 11 a.m. at Holy Martyrs Catholic Church in Japan. Interment will follow at the Holy Martyrs Cemetery. Visitation will be from 4 until 8 p.m. this evening at the Eaton Funeral Home. In lieu of flowers, donations can be made to Holy Martyrs Catholic Cemetery. Billy Jean Brooks, made Aiden of Steelville, passed away Tuesday at the age of 81. Visitation will be from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. on Tuesday at Hudson Funeral Home in Steelville. Funeral services will immediately follow and be live streamed on Hudson Funeral Home in Steelville's Facebook page. The family has chosen cremation as for final disposition. Memorials may be given to the funeral home to help with final expenses. Jeanette Butler, named Roar 6 of Brava, passed away Thursday at the age of 60. Funeral services will be held Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. at Hudson Funeral Home in Cuba. The service will be live streamed on Hudson Funeral Home in Cuba's Facebook page. The family has chosen cremation as their final disposition. Visitation for Jeanette Butler will be from 6 until 8 p.m. on Tuesday at Hudson Funeral Home in Cuba. Memorials may be made to Hudson Funeral Home to help with funeral expenses. Vicki Fewer of Sullivan passed away Tuesday at the age of 70. Memorial service will be held Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the Eaton Funeral Home in Sullivan. The family will receive friends from 6 until 7 p.m. on Wednesday at the Eaton Funeral Home. Memorials may be made to the Madison Bartle Scholarship Fund in Vicky's honor. Trust Hogan Ernie Jr. of Steelville passed away Sunday at the age of 72. His family will have private graveside service at the Missouri Veterans Cemetery in Fort Leonard with full military honors. There will be a celebration advised by the local date. In lieu of flowers, memorials may be given to Steelville High School SCLA or the Deer Creek Church in the name of Trust Ernie Jr. All arrangements are under the direction of the Funeral Home of Steelville. The complete funeral announcements of all the survivors will air with our 8 o'clock stated edition of KTUI News this morning.
As a chronic employment provider, Compass Health Network is equipped to assist you or a loved one struggling with trauma, anxiety, depression, substance use disorder, or other behavioral health conditions. Our providers understand that everyone's life experiences are different and will work with you in person or virtually to develop the most effective plan of care. You are not alone. Call Compass Health Network today at 844-853-8937 or visit compasshealthnetwork.org for more information.
What do you do? Water doesn't flow, no pressure, making sound from the pressure tank. Pump runs constantly? You contact Schreppler Well Drilling, your water pro. Their knowledgeable staff is ready to handle whatever water issue you're experiencing. Schreppler Well Drilling also handles a full line of water treatment equipment. Hard water, red water, sulfur, it can all be treated. Family owned and operated since 1953. They can repair your pump system and improve your water quality. Your family-owned water company. SchrepplerWellDrilling.com.
From the KTUI Weather Buzz Weather Center, for this morning, expecting mostly clear skies. Sunny or hot this afternoon, high temperature of 90 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 63. Tuesday, sunny and warm, a high temperature of 88. Tuesday night, mostly clear, a low of 62. On Wednesday, mostly sunny, a high temperature of 86. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 63. And Thursday, partly sunny, a high temperature near 80. For KTUI, I'm Andrew Brady.
Thank you, Andrew. It's 28 minutes in front of 7 o'clock, 68 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. Happy birthday today to Natalie Bell, Andrew I, Sandy Coppage. Chase Perschbacher is 14 today. Happy birthday to all those folks. At 7:30 this morning, going to be talking with U.S. Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer. He's from Missouri's 3rd District. And then at 8:30, I think Brady Vasali's filling in for Cliff Thexton for the Eagles today. And then at 9:10 this morning, we're going to be talking to the athletic trainers for Sullivan and Cuba school districts that work for Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital. And one of them is Mateo Barassi or something like that. We'll find out. And Emily Fedderson is the other one. And again, that's coming up at 9:10. All right, 68 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. Bobby D's got sports coming up for you right after you hear this. Finding time to deposit a check can stop you from getting other things done. Sullivan Bank offers mobile check deposit through the Sullivan Bank app. It only takes a minute to deposit that check. Open the app, select deposit, then deposit a check. Follow the prompts and you're done. Need some help that first time? Stop by any Sullivan Bank location and their staff are happy to demonstrate. It's easy and fast. Now you have time for other things. Sullivan Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Looking at sports on this Monday, the Cardinals keep winning 16 in a row now as they swept the Cubs yesterday. Here's John Rooney and Ricky Horton with the game recap.
With Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney, and the Cardinals have finished their regular season road record at 45-36. They came from behind with 2 runs, taking advantage of a walk and a bunt single, then a sacrifice and a wild pitch, and an opportunity to get 2. They scored 2 and won 4-2, pushing the winning streak to 16.
Another great day at the ballpark for the Cardinals. They have found new ways to win, and one of the ways is to have a lot of offense late in games. That's been consistent throughout this streak that the Cardinals are on. Now they're going to take on the Milwaukee Brewers, and it's going to be fun at the ballpark.
The Cardinals are off today, but coming off a road trip where they won all 8 and pushed their winning streak to 16. Genesis Cabrera got the win in relief over Cody Hoyer, who lost the last 2 games for the Cubs, and Giovanni Gallegos has saved 14 now.
And it's been a team that was kind of dull for a while, but now they're playing exciting baseball. It's really fun to watch.
Come on out and join us tomorrow night. Adam Wainwright pitches, and we're on the air at 5:50 from North Radio.
Thanks, John. Again, Cardinals off tonight. Back in action tomorrow night, 5:50 on 102.1 KTUI FM. James Neal with the Blues on a professional tryout contract scored a hat trick in a 6-2 win over Minnesota in a preseason opener on Saturday night. Brandon Saad, Ivan Barbashev, and Michael Froelich also scored for the Blues. They're back in action tonight against Dallas. 6:30 pregame tonight on KTUI 102.1 FM. The Blues have acquired St. Louis native Logan Brown and a conditional draft pick in 2022 from the Ottawa Senators in exchange for forward Zach Sanford. Brown, the son of former Blues defenseman Jeff Brown, was originally drafted 11th overall by the Senators in the 2016 draft. The 26-year-old Sanford has spent 4 of his 5 NHL seasons with the Blues. He scored 10 goals and 6 assists in 52 regular season games last year. And Doug Armstrong will serve as the Blues president of hockey operations and general manager for the foreseeable future after signing a 5-year deal on Saturday. Under Armstrong, the Blues have qualified for the postseason 9 of the last 10 seasons, won 3 division titles, and claimed its first Stanley Cup in franchise history in 2019. Mizzou dropped a game in overtime to Boston College on Saturday. Mizzou got a field goal from Harrison Mevis as time expired to tie the game, but Connor Bazelak threw an interception in the overtime period after Boston College had scored, and Mizzou came away with the loss. They'll be back at home this Saturday to take on Tennessee at Faurot Field in Columbia, game time at 11 o'clock. Missouri S&T jumped out to a 17-point lead in the first half Saturday afternoon at Hillsdale in Michigan, but a number of mistakes in the second half proved costly as the Miners wound up on the short end of a 38-31 result. They will open Great Lakes Valley Conference play this Saturday, taking on Quincy at 1 o'clock. And Westminster College dropped a game to Rhodes College 47-7 over the weekend. They'll be back in action this Saturday on the road in Minnesota at University of Minnesota Morris, kickoff at 12 noon. The ECC Falcon women's soccer team defeated Metropolitan Community College out of Kansas City 2-0 at home on Saturday afternoon. They'll be back at home today taking on Southwestern Illinois at 3 o'clock. The men's team came from behind to beat Metropolitan Community College by a score of 6-3. Their match against Southwestern Illinois today has been postponed. And the volleyball Falcons dropped their match at Southwestern Illinois 3-1, then defeated Greenville University JV 3-0. Volleyball team now off till October the 4th. A busy local scoreboard from Saturday in high school softball. At the St. James tournament, St. James beat Salem 17-4 and then beat St. Clair 19-4. Salem over St. Clair 13-3, so St. James wins that tournament. At the Richland tournament, Vienna beat Cuba 18-5, then Cuba beat Richland 13-2 and Crocker 6-5. Vienna went 3-0 to win the tournament. And it was St. Charles over Union 21-2 at the Fort Zumwalt North tournament. Washington took a doubleheader from Lafayette 5-0 in the first game, 7-2 in the second game. High school volleyball at the Troy Invitational tournament in pool play. Sullivan split with Montgomery County, 1 set apiece. They beat Troy 2-0. They split with Hannibal, and then split with Liberty. Sullivan and Hannibal finished in a tiebreaker after pool play. Sullivan won the playoff 15-11 to face Liberty in the championship. Liberty comes out on top 2-1. Sullivan finishing second. At the Megan Gross Invitational in Warrenton, St. James goes 2-2 in pool play. They then lost to Waynesville in bracket play and finished 7th in the tournament. At the St. Charles Invitational, Pacific went 2-1 in pool play, but did not make the finals. St. Clair was 1-2 in pool play. At a tri-meet over at Borgia, Borgia beat Rockbridge 3-0, lost to St. Louis Mater Dei 3-2. At the Gateway Matchup Volleyball Tournament, Washington defeated Lutheran South 2-0 and then lost to Narings Hall 2-0. Bourbon JV Volleyball Tournament, Bourbon beat Kingston 2-0. Cuba over Viburnum 2-0. Houston and Bourbon split. Cuba beat Plato 2-0. All that in pool play. In the semifinals, it was Cuba over Houston, and Plato beat Bourbon. Houston beats Bourbon for third place, and Cuba defeated Plato for the championship. At the Union JV tournament, Washington beat Union to finish first place. Herman takes third, and no results from the Union freshman tournament. Boys soccer over the weekend at the Hillsborough tournament, Pacific takes seventh place, beating Fredericktown 4-1. And Lutheran South defeated Washington for third place 2-1. At the Union JV soccer tournament, Washington Union tied 1-1, but Washington takes the championship on the tiebreaker. At the Vienna Classic fall baseball tournament, Statland beat Bell on Saturday 3-2. At the Gans Creek Classic cross country meet on Saturday up in Columbia in the girls white division, Emily Willman from Sullivan finishing in fifth place overall out of 226 runners and set a new school record in the process. Lauren Halmick, Adia Halmick, Michelle Gossett, Kate Tomier, Melody Broninger, and Olivia Hewitt all running for Sullivan. As Sullivan finishes eighth as a team. Sydney Grubb from New Haven was their top finisher. In the blue division, in 245 runners, Eileen Limburg from Owensville finishing eighth overall. Ella Coppinger from Union was their top finisher in 33rd. Katie Prada from Pacific in 82nd, Courtney Diaz from Steelville in 84th place. Steelville finishing in 26th place as a team. Owensville was 28th, Pacific was 29th. In the boys white division results, Aiden Kirk of Sullivan, third overall, also setting a new school record. New Haven finishing 10th as a team. Hunter Talent and Logan Williams were their top finishers. Other runners for Sullivan, Abram Denny, Walker Hardy, and Ian Studdard. At the boys blue division, out of 289 runners, Connor Diaz finishing 12th overall from Steelville High School. Gabe Hochul from Union was 18th. William Herbst also running for Union. Colin Haley was the top finisher for Pacific in 93rd place. Felix Guerrero was the top finisher for Owensville. Union finishing in 16th place as a team. Steelville was 20th, Owensville 27th, and Pacific 36th. In JV action in the blue-white division, it was Trevor Shockley from Owensville 17th and Tristan Davis from Owensville 20th, as Owensville finishing 6th as a team in the JV race. The St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference announced that Cody McKinney from Sullivan was named as their men's golf player of the week for last week. He won the award after shooting a career best 4 over par, 146, which led to an 11th place finish at the John A. Logan Invite. He is the first Fonbon men's golfer to win the award since 2019. Schedule of games for today: JV football tonight. Pacific at Sullivan is a 6 o'clock start. Valley Catholic at Borgia. St. James at Cuba. Herman at Owensville. Union at St. Clair. All 5:30 starts. Washington at Fort Zumwalt South will be a 4 o'clock start for the freshman game. In high school softball today, Rolla will be at Sullivan. That'll be our broadcast game. Pregame at 4:10. First pitch at 4:30. New Haven will be at Bell at 5 o'clock. Borgia at Webster Groves. Varsity only at 4:30. Cuba at Herman. Owensville at Fatima. Both varsity and JV at 4:30. St. Clair at Warrenton, varsity only at 4:30. St. James at Lakeway, North County at Union are varsity and JV at 4:30. Coming up tonight in high school volleyball, Sullivan will be at Rockwood Summit, freshman JV and varsity at 5. Viburnum at Bourbon. St. Clair at Salem, both JV and varsity, those are 5 o'clock starts. And at the Herman tournament gets underway tonight at 4 o'clock Pacific in Owensville. 5, it's Borgia and the Herman JV at 6. Herman JV against Pacific. Borgia and Owensville at 7. Owensville and the Herman JV at 8. Borgia and Pacific at 9 o'clock. The other pool play will be on Tuesday with bracket play in the championship rounds coming up on Thursday up at Herman. In girls golf today, the Four Rivers Conference Tournament, Pacific, St. Clair, St. James, and Union will be at Birch Creek, and Borgia will be at St. Dominic for a dual meet at the Golf Club of Wentzville. That'll be a 3:30 start coming up today. Middle school girls basketball tonight, the Herman 7th grade tournament gets underway. 5 o'clock tonight, St. James plays Pacific. At 6:15, it's Union and St. Clair. Herman and Washington play at 7:30. Owensville and Sullivan open up play on Tuesday night at 5 o'clock. At the Washington Tom Todd 8th grade grade tournament tonight at 5 o'clock, St. James plays Pacific, followed by St. Clair and Washington at 6:15 and Owensville and Herman at 7:30. Sullivan plays New Haven Tuesday night at 6:15 in a first-round matchup. Sports on the air, it's high school softball this afternoon, 4:10 pregame, 4:30 first pitch, Rolla at Sullivan, and then we have Blues hockey tonight with a 6:30 pregame, and they'll drop the puck at about 7:10. Both those games today on 102.1 KTUI FM. That's your look at sports on a Monday. This is Bobby D.
Recently named North America's Farm Equipment Dealer of the Year, Seidenstricker Nobe John Deere is your partner for the land. At Seidenstricker Nobe Partners, our customers are number one. Our mission is quality service and exceptional equipment to get the job done. Our experienced sales, parts, and service teams are ready to help with all your equipment needs. Come see us at one of our 27 locations or visit us online. Run with us at Seidenstricker Nobe, snpartners.com, your partner for the land.
It was a quiet Friday for direct cash cattle trading. Cash hogs into the day higher. Good morning. I'm Megan Grabner with your Brownfield Livestock Market Reports. It was a slow end of the week for direct cash cattle trade. There was light to moderate business that took place at midweek. Dress deals in the north throughout the week had a wide range from $193 to $198, mostly $198, which is $1 lower than the prior week's weighted average basis in Nebraska. Live deals in the south were at $123 to $124, generally steady with the previous week's business. At the Herod Livestock Market in South Dakota, there was good demand for the day's yearling offering, featuring a handful of loads, all steers and several packages, mostly tested open heifers, all of which sold on a moderate to active market. Yearlings came both off grass and out of yards and varied flesh. The USDA says quality was mostly average to attractive. Recent rainfalls have helped to greatly improve grass conditions in the area and have enabled some producers to leave cattle on grass just a little bit longer. Medium and large one feeder steers, 802 to 842 pounds, brought 158.50 to 165.75. Feeder steers, 916 to 939 pounds, brought 144.25 to 148.75. Medium and large one feeder heifers, 855 to 898 pounds, brought 146.50 to $148. Box beef into the day lower on light demand for moderate offerings. Choice down 228 at 303.32. Select close 46 cents lower at 274.53. Estimated cattle slaughter was 110,000 head. That's down 8,000 on the week and down 3,000 on the year. Cash hogs close higher with a very light negotiated run. Processors have been able to move their desired numbers recently without much effort. They do continue to monitor the availability of market-ready hogs. Demand for U.S. pork on the global market and domestically has been strong, and the industry does expect that to continue in the near term. Barrows and gilts at the National Daily Direct closed 40 cents higher with a weighted average of 76.93. Prices at the regional direct markets were not reported due to confidentiality. Pork values closed sharply higher, up 648 at 110.77, and estimated hog slaughter was 472,000 head, up 2,000 on the week and up 10,000 on the year. At the CME, live and feeder cattle closed mixed ahead of the Cattle on Feed report. Overall, that report looks bearish. And lean hog futures into the day mixed, mostly higher ahead of the quarterly hogs and pigs report. That report looks to be bullish to prices. I'm Megan Grebner on Brownfield.
At Farmers Cooperative Association number 301, they carry a full line of quality MFA and Purina branded feeds, as well as all of your other farming needs, plus lawn and garden. Stop in and see your local Farmers Cooperative Association number 301 at 28 North Church Street in downtown Sullivan.
Nothing says fall like bright orange pumpkins. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. With proper harvest and storage, they'll stay in top shape for all of your autumn activities as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
If you're looking for new ideas for what to do around your place in the country, register for the Living the Country Life newsletter. Once a week, you'll receive helpful tips in your inbox on a wide variety of seasonal and timely topics, along with so much more. Living the Country Life is for all those people who love to live in the country. Sign up for your free newsletter today by visiting livingthecountrylife.com. Finally, an easier way to get commodity price updates. Successful Farming Live is an easy-to-use tool that you can use to search Chicago Board of Trade and local cash prices, all by using your voice. What's the price of corn? Find out by asking your smart speaker to enable Successful Farming Live. The Alexa skill in Google Action provides the latest commodity prices alongside tips from AGI. Remember, just say, enable Successful Farming Live.
Several years ago, we had a small pumpkin patch that produced maybe 3 pumpkins, but it was fun to watch them grow over the summer. The toughest part was figuring out when to pick them. Mike Rogie is a local foods and small farm educator at the University of Illinois. He says to harvest when the pumpkins are a deep orange color because they don't ripen any further after they're picked.
They're living when you pick them. They're still attached to the vine. You want to make sure the vine is healthy for picking them yourself. If you're selecting them from a store that are already picked, pick ones that have a nice, fresh green handle, and the surface is entirely smooth. There's no disease or insect pressure on there.
Pumpkins should be harvested before the first hard freeze, which could damage the skin and kill tissue. Frostbitten pumpkins don't last very long. A healthy pumpkin will stay good for up to a couple of months when stored properly. Rogie says the best place for a pumpkin is in a pie. But if you have other plans for it, it should go through a curing process similar to potatoes and onions. This allows the rind of the pumpkin to toughen up.
Put it in a 80-85 degree temperature, 80-85% humidity environment for perhaps 10 days to 2 weeks to let it cure out. After that's happened, you want to place them in a single layer, not touching, and off of a wet concrete floor. And you want probably a temperature of 50 to 55 degrees at that point in time.
Put a piece of wood or cardboard on the bottom of your pumpkins to absorb any moisture that might collect underneath. For long-term storage, wash the fruit in a solution of 1 cup of chlorine to 1 gallon of water. This will kill bacteria that could cause rot on the pumpkins. Learn more about pumpkin harvest and storage at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the Country Life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com.
From the KTUI WeatherBug Weather Center, for this morning, expecting mostly clear skies. Sunny and hot this afternoon, a high temperature of 90 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 63. Tuesday, sunny and warm, a high temperature of 88. Tuesday night, mostly clear, a low of 62. On Wednesday, mostly sunny, a high temperature of 86. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 63. And Thursday, partly sunny, a high temperature near 80. For KTUI, I'm Andrew Brady.
9 minutes in front of 7 o'clock, 67 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. Time now to go out across our wide Missouri.
Across our wide Missouri with Bob Pretty. Listen to show archives, hear about this day in Missouri history, and learn more about the Show Me State by visiting MissouriNet.com today.
Skirmishing broke out that afternoon near Ironton, with Union forces rallying to push back the ragtag Confederate forces of Major General James Fagan. That night, the Union forces withdrew into town, and late that night, Major James Wilson and Captain William Campbell went out to learn the enemy's strength. They found Sterling Price's entire army was camped in the Arcadia Valley of Missouri, readying an all-out attack on their small unit and fort. The attack came the next day. It was a great tragedy for the Confederacy, and we'll tell the story in a minute.
Understanding Medicare can be a challenge, and for some, being on Medicare and trying to pay bills is an even bigger challenge. That's why CLAIM, Missouri's nonprofit state health insurance assistance program, is here to help you understand your Medicare options. They can help you apply for other money-saving programs, too. Just call 1-800-390-3330. Again, 1-800-390-3330, and ask for a CLAIM BEC counselor. CLAIM can help. Funding provided by the Missouri Department of Commerce and Insurance through the National Council on Aging.
I'm Doris Falkenrath, and I'm a warden at the Fulton Reception and Diagnostic Center. In all honesty, you meet some of the most creative, innovative people ever in corrections. Unassuming people. You wouldn't even know it until you get to know them. They do some great things, and I love this profession, and this is where I will be until the day I retire. And I'll probably try to come back and volunteer in some capacity.
Secure your future at doc.mo.gov/jobs. The Missouri Department of Corrections is an equal opportunity employer.
The situation began to develop when General William Rosecrans, stationed in St. Louis, heard that Price was marching into Missouri again. The Confederates lost the surprise element almost immediately. Rosecrans fortified St. Louis, and then he sent General Thomas Ewing of Order Number 11 fame to south central Missouri to see what Price was up to find out where Price had advanced, ordered the state militia to concentrate at Rolla and Jefferson City, doing exactly what Price wanted him to do. He clumped his men in small numbers that could be wiped out piecemeal. Joe Shelby thought St. Louis still could be taken in a day, but Price thought otherwise and decided to turn his 1,500-man garrison at Pilot Knob. Ewing then had taken command there at Fort Davidson, and Fletcher had taken command of the infantry at Pilot Knob. They had 886 men ready to fight, but they didn't know that Price had 10 to 12,000. By noon that fateful day, the Confederates had the fort surrounded. A Confederate artillery engineer felt that 10 cannons on the mountain nearby could destroy the fort in 15 minutes. But Price listened instead to Lieutenant Colonel Auckland McLean, a personal enemy of Ewing's, who demanded a massive frontal assault. For an hour, the valley was quiet. In the underbrush, the Confederates formed up. In the fort, Ewing ordered the cannons lowered to where they were shooting level so they could spray the approaching land with canister. 2 o'clock. 4 Confederate cannons opened fire, and Price's fearful-looking army moved into view from the south and west in columns 3 ranks deep, walking toward the fort. Walking. When the firing began, there were massive explosions within the Confederate ranks, but still they came. At 600 yards, they broke into a quick step. The fire from the fort was fast and deadly, but still the Confederates came, and when they were 200 yards away, they fired their first volley and broke into a running charge. Smoke billowed across the field. Only running legs could be seen. 70 yards, still they were coming. 60 yards, they were taking monstrous casualties. 50 yards, 40. 30. Finally, the line began to waver. It fell back. They regrouped and came on again, some reaching a 7-feet-deep moat surrounding the fort, but they didn't have the momentum to scale the sloping walls, and Union riflemen leaned over the walls and shot into the rebels like fish in a barrel. Small artillery shells were dropped into the gulf to go off like hand grenades. It was too much. Price's army finally turned and began to run, and the Union riflemen took an even heavier toll, and only now can they see the damage that has been done. During the charge, the ranks kept closing, but in the retreat there is no order, and as Brownlee writes, for 500 yards on the 3 faces of the earthworks, the ground was black in dead and wounded men. It is 2:20 p.m. The battle has lasted 20 minutes, and 1,000 officers and men are dead. That night, the Union forces sneaked out of the fort and blew up the magazine, knowing Price would start lobbing artillery shells in the next morning. Sterling Price's army never recovered the spirit, the advantage, and the hope they had before that battle, where they lost 1,000 men in 20 minutes at Pilot Knob on this date, September 27th in 1864.
That was Across Our Wide Missouri with Bob Pretty. To listen to show archives, hear about this day in Missouri history, and learn more about the Show Me State, visit MissouriNet.com.
I just started running through in my mind all the things that I was doing for her as a way to serve her, as a way to love her, thinking certainly anybody could see how much I love you and how connected we are because I'm doing all these things.
This is Focus on the Family Minute, and Dr. Greg Smalley describes some important lessons he's learned in his marriage.
And yet, being with her, just not doing, but just being with her in investigating what's really going on in her inner life, that's hard for me. It's easier for me to do and be active and show her how I'm loving her than to be vulnerable and to take a moment and just sit. How are you really doing? To know her, because often it requires then me to also share.
Hear additional tips from our conversation with Greg for improving your marriage at FamilyMinute.org.
AM 1560 KTUI Sullivan, 94.1 FM. It's 7 o'clock news at 7. Brought to you by Sullivan Bank. It's 66 degrees.
Research proves soy foods can help in the prevention and treatment of breast cancer in women. I'm Julie Harker with Healthy Living on Brownfield. Dr. Mark Messina is with the Soy Nutrition Institute.
The breast cancer issue is one that I focused on for literally my entire career because I entered this field because of my belief that consuming soy foods can reduce the risk of developing breast cancer. I still believe that's the case. However, there's sort of good and bad news.
But it's good news for girls.
I don't think consuming soy foods during adulthood reduces risk of breast cancer. But I very much think that if you consume soy when you're young, that is during childhood and or during the teenage years, I think even just a little bit of soy during that early period in life can reduce breast cancer risk later on in life by as much as 25 to 50%.
Messina says there's exciting data that supports it.
And for that reason, I recommend that all girls consume at least one serving of soy per day. It's easy to get a serving into the diet. That's, half a cup of tofu, a cup of soy milk, an ounce of soy nuts. It's a nutritious food, so there's no downside to doing that, but plenty of potential upside.
The latest research shows for women who consume soy foods after a cancer diagnosis, a recurrence is reduced and their survival rates improve. I'm Julie Harker with Healthy Living on Brownfield.
Choose the proven performance of the Roundup Ready Extend crop system, featuring high-yielding Extend Flex soybeans and the exceptional weed control of XtendiMax herbicide with Vapor Grip technology. Elite genetics, triple herbicide tolerance, flexibility that delivers results, backed by 25 years of innovation. That's the Roundup Ready Extend crop system, the system of choice. XtendiMax is a restricted-use pesticide. Always follow stewardship practices, all pesticide label directions, and check with your state pesticide regulatory agency for specific restrictions in your state.
They say if you listen hard enough, you can hear the corn grow. It's true. When you're out in the field, you understand its challenges and what it needs to thrive. Channel Seedsmen bring insights from the field to our team of Bayer plant breeders. Their knowledge inspires our product development. From your best ground to your most challenging conditions, our products are designed to perform in your fields. Visit channellistens.com to see our latest innovations. Always read and follow IRM where applicable, grain marketing and all other stewardship practices and pesticide label directions.
All right, let's try this again. Now it's 7 o'clock. We are AM 1560 KTUI Sullivan, 94.1 FM. It is 65 degrees, and news brought to you by Sullivan Bank.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The center-left Socialist Democrat Party, or SDP, clinched a narrow victory in Germany's historic federal election on Sunday. Chancellor Olaf Scholz is scheduled to form a new government coalition and lead Europe's largest economy into the post-Merkel era. SPD won 25.9% of the vote, and Merkel's CDU bloc had 24.1% following the elections. As the FBI continues to look for Brian Laundrie, the person of interest in the Gabby Petito homicide, a man familiar with the area being searched, Florida cattle rancher Alan McEwen tells Fox News he seriously doubts Brian is in the nature preserve.
But we're out there riding for 12, 13 hours a day, starting at daylight. By the time we get in at night, I don't see anybody can make it out here for 10 days, 5 days. There's no water supply, there's no fresh springs, there's no stores available, unless you go 12 miles either direction. There's just no possible way.
USA Radio News.
A lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you can get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care. And that's MediShare. You get both. The typical family saves $500 a month switching to MediShare. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. It's because MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge PPO network, so yeah, really, you could save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. If you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number you need. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Disney and Marvel Comics are heading to a showdown in the world of superheroes. Jeremy Scott from the Oregon USA Radio News Bureau explains.
Disney has filed lawsuits in both Los Angeles and New York seeking to stop the heirs to Marvel Comics artists and writers from reclaiming rights to characters such as Iron Man, Thor, and Spider-Man, which their relatives helped create. The media giant acquiring Marvel in 2009 The Marvel Cinematic Universe franchise has made nearly 24 films, including some of the highest-grossing superhero movies ever, including Marvel Studios' 4 Avengers films. The entertainment giant has been served with copyright termination notices. Disney is seeking to have federal judges on both coasts rule that the Burbank-based entertainment conglomerate is the sole owner of the rights to the characters. From the USA Radio News Oregon Bureau, I'm Jeremy Scott.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced late Sunday night the House will vote Thursday on a Senate-passed bipartisan infrastructure bill, pushing back an originally planned vote for today. USA Radio News.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, and I want to tell you that arthritis is not a genetic thing. It's not a disease of aging. Neither is osteoporosis. Get a hold of my book. It's all in your head. It goes into the 25 different diseases you get when you have osteoporosis of the skull. These are all reversible. You take the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack, the MSM, vitamin D3, stay away from all the bad foods, including gluten, and guess what? You'll regrow all your bones, including your skull and your legs and your hips and everything else. Contact us at usaradiohealth.com. That's usaradiohealth.com.
As the Biden administration has released roughly 12,000 illegal Haitian immigrants into the United States, some lawmakers say nobody will be able to monitor the Haitian immigrants. Republican Congresswoman Yvette Harrell on Newsmax Saturday.
And no one's going to be able to monitor these people. We don't even know where they're going into the interior of the nation to even be able to keep tabs on them. So again, it's just more of a blunder on the border from this Biden administration. Yeah, well, this is what part of the problem is. And I met with the ambassador to Haiti this week in my office. And of course, most of the migrants that we're seeing coming from Haiti right now have been on the move for years, not just months, years. So they've been making their way to America forever. But here's the thing. Now, you know, it's Common Core type math because they had 15,000 last weekend. Then all of a sudden it's down to 1,700 being deported. We don't even know what the numbers are anymore. But we do know that some are being taken to the Rio Grande or to Tucson, over into that area. We know that some are being released. And like you say, with documents saying, hey, come back and let's go to court. These people are all over the interior of our nation. And this administration continues to act as if we don't have a problem. And they are saying that our borders are closed. But you can see by the images you're showing right now, we clearly have open borders.
According to officials at Fort Bliss, Texas, a female soldier has been assaulted by a small group of Afghan refugees recently at the Donna Ana complex in New Mexico. The FBI is investigating. USA Radio News, I'm Lance Pry.
The OBGYN you choose matters. They will be by your side to guide you through the important stages of life, from puberty to childbirth to menopause and everything in between. Choose healthcare you can trust from the experts at BJC Medical Group, located right here in your community at Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital. Visit MissouriBaptistSullivan.org to schedule your appointment with one of our board-certified OBGYNs. Missouri Baptist Sullivan Hospital, your best medicine close to home.
This moment in history brings with it the chance to advance yourself while protecting our community. At BJC, you'll belong to a world-class healthcare system that offers tuition reimbursement available your first day, schedule flexibility, and 30,000 remarkable colleagues. You'll feel the unity and opportunity and find strength within. Apply now at bjcopportunity.org. Sign-on bonuses available.
Missouri Net News is presented by Show Me Hope Missouri, offering free and confidential crisis counseling. Go to moshowmehope.org.
A showdown over requiring masks in schools heads to court this week. Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt's lawsuit attempts to ban Columbia Public Schools and any school district in the state from requiring masks. Schmidt argues that parents and families should be the ones to decide if their children should wear masks in schools. Tony Rothert with the American Civil Liberties Union of Missouri says it will ask a Boone County court tomorrow morning to let it intervene in the case on behalf of students with disabilities.
I can understand where the Attorney General is coming from, and I've heard that rhetoric, and that might be fine and good in the absence of students with disabilities. But it doesn't do an immunosuppressed child any good to have optional masking.
The National Defense Authorization Act passed the U.S. House with Missouri projects on the list. 4th District. Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler is the ranking Republican on an important armed services subcommittee. She says this is the most important bill the committee passes.
We're going to continue to fund the F-15s, both made here in St. Louis, Boeing, and make sure that we have adequate ammunition from the Lake City ammunition plant that's just outside of Kansas City. But just in a broader picture, making sure that our men and women in uniform have what they need to meet the threat, especially from China.
Hartzler represents Fort Leonard Wood and Whiteman Air Force Base. And the Kansas City Chiefs announced last night that head coach Andy Reid was taken to the hospital after the team's loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. KMBC TV reports the Chiefs tweeted that, quote, head coach Andy Reid felt ill at the conclusion of the game. He was evaluated by medical staff in the locker room and, as a precaution, was transported to the University of Kansas Health System for further evaluation, unquote. He's currently resting and is in stable condition. More news online at MissouriNet.com. This is news on MissouriNet.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the latest news on MissouriNet. The Missouri Supreme Court has scheduled a hearing for next week about the state's referendum process and an effort to overturn an 8-week abortion ban.
Last December, a Cole County Circuit Court ruled that Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft unconstitutionally delayed the American Civil Liberties Union's collection of signatures attempting to overturn the 2019 regulations. By the time Ashcroft approved the proposed referendum's official title, the ACLU had 2 weeks to gather 100,000 signatures required to get the issue on the ballot. The state appealed the case. The court hearing will be Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. in Jefferson City. Elisa Nelson, MissouriNet.
And Governor Mike Parson will tour the new Amazon Fulfillment Center in southwestern Missouri's Republic near Springfield today. TV partner Color 10 says Parson will hear about Amazon's hiring numbers and discuss the impact the new facility will have on the economy. This is news on MissouriNet.
Finding time to deposit a check can stop you from getting other things done. Sullivan Bank offers mobile check deposit through the Sullivan Bank app. It only takes a minute to deposit that check. Open the app, select deposit, then deposit a check. Follow the prompts and you're done. Need some help that first time? Stop by any Sullivan Bank location and their staff are happy to demonstrate. It's easy and fast. Now you have time for other things. Sullivan Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
What do you do when water doesn't flow? Low pressure, clicking sounds from the pressure tank, pump runs constantly? You contact Schrepfer Well Drilling, your water pro. Their knowledgeable staff is ready to handle whatever water issue you're experiencing. Schrepfer Well Drilling also handles a full line of water treatment equipment. Hard water, red water, sulfur, it can all be treated. Family owned and operated since 1953. They can repair your pump system and improve your water quality. Your family owned water company, Schrepfer Well Drilling.
The Missouri State Highway Patrol reported a fatality accident in St. Charles County at 6:50 p.m. yesterday on northbound US 67 north of Richard Drive. 55-year-old Shelley M. Connor of Alton, Illinois, was driving a 2014 Toyota Highlander. Traveled off the left side of the roadway, struck a tree. She was transported to St. Louis University Hospital by Arch Helicopter, where she was pronounced deceased. A 15-year-old girl who was a passenger in the vehicle had serious injuries. She was transported to St. Louis Children's Hospital by Christian Hospital EMS. There was a fatal accident in Marion County at 12:20 p.m. yesterday on US 61 in Palmyra, north of West Main Cross. 31-year-old Kyle S. Bowman of Bowling Green was driving a 2016 Ford F-450 ambulance. 93-year-old Willard W. Levert of Middleton was driving a 2016 Ford Escape. They were both southbound on US 61. The Ford Escape attempted to make a left turn in front of the ambulance. A passenger in the Levert vehicle, 87-year-old Gloria J. Levert of Middletown, was taken by Marion County Ambulance to Blessing Hospital in Quincy, where she was pronounced deceased. 93-year-old Willard Levert of Middletown had serious injuries. He was taken by Marion County Ambulance to Blessing Hospital in Quincy for treatment. There was a fatal accident yesterday at 3:15 a.m. in Jasper County on Route JJ, a mile south of Carl Junction. 33-year-old Russell T. Asbell of Carl Junction was driving a 1993 Jeep Wrangler, ran off the roadway, struck a post, overturned, and ejected the driver. He was pronounced deceased at Freeman West Hospital. A 17-year-old girl was killed. 4 others were seriously injured in a crash in Jefferson County overnight. According to the Missouri State Highway Patrol, 5 teens were in a 2013 Ford Fusion going northbound on Carroll Park Road north of Woodland Drive early yesterday morning. Around 1:45 a.m., the driver went off the roadway, hit a tree and a utility pole before coming to a stop. The 17-year-old girl from Cedar Hill was pronounced dead on the scene. The 4 other teens, 2 males and 2 females, were seriously injured in the crash. Investigators say the driver was the only one wearing a seatbelt. The Highway Patrol reported a motorcycle accident in Franklin County at 8:11 p.m. yesterday on eastbound Missouri 30 west of Thunderbird Court. 67-year-old Larry J. Hood of Robertsville was riding a 2014 Harley-Davidson Heritage Softail Classic. He was traveling westbound on Missouri 30. A 2005 Dodge Ram driven by 54-year-old Sheila Armstrong of Aurora, Illinois, was traveling eastbound on Missouri 30. The motorcycle crossed the center line. The front of the motorcycle struck the front left of the Dodge Ram, ejecting the rider. The motorcycle then traveled off the right side of the roadway. 67-year-old Larry J. Hood of Robertsville had serious injuries. He was taken to Barnes Jewish Hospital in St. Louis by air evac helicopter. There was an accident in Jefferson County at 9:47 a.m. yesterday at eastbound Old Highway M at I-55. A 2006 Peterbilt driven by 57-year-old Philip L. King of Sullivan was traveling in the eastbound lane of Route M, approaching the I-55 intersection. A 2014 Ford Focus driven by 25-year-old Samantha J. Pope of Union was stopped on the ramp of northbound I-55 at Route M, preparing to make a left turn onto westbound Route M. The driver of the Peterbilt failed to stop at the electric signal. The front of his vehicle struck the left side of the Ford Focus. The impact caused the Focus to travel off the north side of the road and strike a metal guardrail. 25-year-old Samantha J. Pope of Union had minor injuries. She was transported to Mercy Hospital, Jefferson by Rock Township Ambulance District. There was an accident in Franklin County on Saturday on Missouri 100 east of Missouri 185. 69-year-old Michael J. Caron of New Haven was driving a 2009 Ford Focus, traveling westbound on Missouri 100 east of Missouri 185. The driver stated his vision was obstructed by the sun. The vehicle traveled off the right side of the roadway, struck several small trees. 65-year-old Patricia Warren of New Haven, a passenger, had minor injuries and was taken to Mercy Hospital in Washington by Washington Ambulance. There was an accident in Franklin County at 6:15 p.m. on Route FF at Project Road. 55-year-old Robert J. Schmidt of Eureka was driving a 2013 Volkswagen Jetta traveling westbound on Project. A 2017 Toyota RAV4 driven by 34-year-old Jason M. Schatz of St. Clair was traveling southbound on Route FF. The driver of the Jetta failed to stop for a posted stop sign and struck the RAV4. 34-year-old Jessica M. Schatz of St. Clair, a passenger in the RAV4, had minor injuries. She was taken to Mercy Hospital in Washington by St. Clair Ambulance. 56-year-old Michelle D. Schmidt, a passenger in the Jetta, she was from Eureka. She had minor injuries and was taken to Mercy Hospital in St. Louis by St. Clair Ambulance. There was an accident in Phelps County at 11:56 a.m. Saturday on Highway BB 5 miles east of Rolla. 58-year-old Barbara S. Underwood of Rolla was driving a 2007 Chevrolet Silverado, stopped in the road, began backing up. She was struck in the rear by a 2007 Chevrolet Cobalt driven by a 16-year-old male juvenile from Rolla. He had minor injuries and was to seek his own treatment. The Highway Patrol made an arrest in Phelps County at 5:32 p.m. yesterday. 48-year-old Charles C. Eves of St. James was arrested on felony Phelps County warrant for passing a bad check, Cole County warrant for passing a bad check, and for driving while suspended. He was taken to the Phelps County jail and was bondable. 2:54 a.m. yesterday in Franklin County, 46-year-old Gregoria Santa Maria of Sullivan was arrested on a patrol charge of driving while intoxicated. He was taken to the Franklin County jail for a 12-hour hold. Yesterday at 1:45 a.m. in Crawford County, 28-year-old Sean C. Myers of Cuba was arrested for DWI first offense and failure to drive on the right half of the roadway. He was released. At 10:31 p.m. on Saturday in Franklin County, 24-year-old Brett M. Fulkerson of Union was arrested on a patrol charge of driving while intoxicated. He was taken to the Franklin County jail and later released. At 8:24 p.m. on Saturday in Montgomery County, 19-year-old Elizabeth M. Davis of Pacific was arrested on an O'Fallon Police Department misdemeanor warrant for no insurance. She was taken to the Montgomery County jail and was bondable. At 4:34 p.m. on Saturday in Washington County, 23-year-old David L. Griggs of Potosi was arrested on a Potosi Police Department failure to appear for no driver's license. He was taken to the Washington County jail and was bondable. At 11:30 a.m. on Saturday in Jefferson County, 57-year-old Philip L. King of Sullivan was arrested on a patrol charge of failure to register as a sex offender, non-compliant, 2 counts. He was taken to the Jefferson County jail and later released. Franklin County prosecuting attorney Matthew Becker has charged 21-year-old Noah A. Cook of Gerald with 1 count of second-degree rape, a Class D felony, and 1 count of second-degree sodomy, also a Class D felony. Due to the nature of the allegations, the victim's name is not being released by police. In the probable cause statement, a Gerald police officer said he was contacted by the victim's mother around 4:30 p.m. The victim had reportedly told her father that she'd been raped while she was asleep in the home in the 600 block of South Main Street in Gerald, also where Cook resides. Cook, who was taken into custody, was initially held on a $50,000 cash-only bond. According to court records, his bond was later reduced to a $20,000 surety bond. He's been ordered to have no contact with the victim and to not come within 10 miles of Gerald. A hearing has been set in this case for Wednesday, October 6th. The Sullivan C2 School District Board of Education meeting will be held this evening at 7 p.m. in the Administrative Building Boardroom at 138 Taylor Street in Sullivan. And there will be an American Red Cross blood drive at the Knights of Columbus in Sullivan at their hall at 231 Missouri 185. It will be Wednesday from 1 until 6 p.m. Please go to redcrossblood.org and enter Sullivan to schedule an appointment or call 800-733-2767. That's a look at your local news on a Monday. I'm Sam Scott.
Side and Sugar Nobi partners are ready to cut a deal. For a limited time, save up to $1,000 on already low-priced 1 through 5 Series John Deere compact tractors. Tractor packages start as low as $179 a month, and all packages come with our 10-year warranty and low finance options. Don't miss out on these savings. Let's cut a deal now at Side and Sugar Nobi, snpartners.com, your partner for the land.
Offer valid through 10/29/21. Some restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Psychologists, licensed professional counselors, and licensed clinical social workers, Compass Health Network is looking for you. The need is great in our communities, and we are currently hiring licensed staff to help us care for those that need us most. Compass Health Network offers a supportive environment of over 250 clinicians, excellent training, a competitive salary, and great benefits. Join us as we inspire hope and promote wellness. Visit careers.compasshealthnetwork.org and apply today.
In recent funeral notices, Homer L. Britton of Sullivan passed away Saturday, September 11th at the age of 86. Funeral services will be held at 11 a.m. Tuesday at First Baptist Church in Sullivan. Burial will follow with full military honors at the Cherryville Baptist Cemetery. Visitation for Homer Britton will be from 4 until 8 p.m. this evening at First Baptist Church in Sullivan. Memorial contributions may be given in Homer's memory to First Baptist Church of Sullivan. All arrangements under the direction of the Eaton Funeral Home of Sullivan. Howard Ironman Davis of Owensville passed away Monday at the age of 75. Funeral Mass will be held Tuesday at 11 a.m. at Holy Martyrs Catholic Church in Japan. Interment will follow at the Holy Martyrs Cemetery. Visitation will be from 4 until 8 p.m. this evening at the Eaton Funeral Home. In lieu of flowers, donations can be made to Holy Martyrs Catholic Cemetery. Billie Jean Brooks, née Aiden of Steelville, passed away Tuesday at the age of 81. Visitation will be from 11 a.m. till 1 p.m. on Tuesday at Hudson Funeral Home in Steelville. Funeral services will immediately follow and be live streamed on Hudson Funeral Home in Steelville's Facebook page. The family has chosen cremation as her final disposition. Memorials may be given to the funeral home to help with final expenses. Danette Butler, née Roark Hicks of Rolla, passed away Thursday at the age of 60. Funeral services will be held Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. at Hudson Funeral Home in Cuba. The service will be live streamed on Hudson Funeral Home in Cuba's Facebook page. The family has chosen cremation as her final disposition. Visitation for Danette Butler will be from 6 until 8 p.m. on Tuesday at Hudson Funeral Home in Cuba. Memorials may be made to Hudson Funeral Home to help with funeral expenses. Vicki Hewer of Sullivan passed away Tuesday at the age of 70. A memorial service will be held Wednesday at 7 p.m. at the Eaton Funeral Home in Sullivan. The family will receive friends from 6 until 7 p.m. on Wednesday at the Eaton Funeral Home. Memorials may be made to the Madison Bartle Scholarship Fund in Vicki's honor. Truff Olden Ernie Jr. of Steelville passed away Sunday at the age of 72. The family will have a private graveside service at Missouri Veterans Cemetery in Fort Leonard Wood with full military honors. There will be a celebration of life at a later date. In lieu of flowers, memorials may be given to Steelville High School, FBLA, or the Deer Creek Church in the name of Truff Ernie Jr. All arrangements are under the direction of the Hudson Funeral Home of Steelville. The complete funeral announcements with all the survivors will air with our 8 o'clock expanded edition of KTUI News this morning.
A lifetime of love. When we lose a loved one far from home, it can make a difficult time even more so.
Dad loved his life in retirement.
But we knew he wanted to come home to his family.
Honor a lifetime of love by bringing your family together. It would be our privilege to assist you.
Lifetime of love.
Don and Lisa Mizell, Mizell Funeral Home, Cuba.
Keep moving ahead with Goodyear at Joe's Tire Company and Bourbon Tire and Lube. Get up to $75 back by online or mail-in rebate on a select set of 4 Goodyear tires, like the Assurance Weather Ready or the Wrangler All-Terrain Adventure. Plus, get up to another $75 more when you use your Goodyear credit card. That's up to $150 in savings waiting for you whenever you're ready to get out and get moving. The Goodyear credit card is subject to credit approval. Stop by Joe's Tire Company in Owensville or Bourbon Tire and Lube in Bourbon.
From the KTUI WeatherBug Weather Center, for this morning, expecting mostly clear skies, sunny and hot this afternoon, a high temperature of 90 degrees. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 63. Tuesday, sunny and warm, a high temperature of 88. Tuesday night, mostly clear, a low of 62. On Wednesday, mostly sunny, a high temperature of 86. Wednesday night, mostly cloudy, a low of 63. And Thursday, partly sunny, a high temperature near 80. For KTUI, I'm Andrew Brady.
Thank you, Andrew. 66 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. 26 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. Bobby D's got some sports coming up for you in just a bit. Natalie Bell, Andrew I, Sandy Coppage, and Chase Perschbacher all have birthdays today. Coming up in just a few minutes, I'll be talking with U.S. Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer. Stay tuned here to KTUI.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. So when it comes to your financial goals, our philosophy at Edward Jones is, don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Don A. Greenwald. A job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for what life throws at you. Call us at 573-468-6046 or visit edwardjones.com to learn more. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
When it comes to your finances, you need a team you can trust, someone who can help you through any situation, a local community bank you can depend on. At First State Community Bank, we are that partner. And because we're committed to Sullivan, you won't have to worry about changes to your accounts or locations. Come see me, Jordan Todd, in Sullivan today. My team and I are excited to partner with you. We'll make the process of switching banks quick and easy.
First State Community Bank, member FDIC, online at fscb.com.
Looking at the local sports scoreboard from the weekend, in high school softball, St. James wins the St. James tournament, beating Salem and St. Clair in pool play. Salem beats St. Clair to finish in second place. At the Richland tournament, Cuba lost to Vienna, beat Richland and Crocker, Cuba finishing second in the tournament. Vienna was first. And at the Fort Zumwalt North Invitational, St. Charles beat Union 21-2. In high school volleyball Saturday at the Troy Invitational, Sullivan finished tied with Hannibal after pool play, setting up a one-set playoff. Sullivan wins that 15-11 to get to the championship game. They lost to Liberty Wentzville 2-1, so Sullivan finishing second. At the Megan Gross Invitational at Warrenton, St. James was 2-2 in pool play, lost out to Waynesville in bracket play and finished seventh in the tournament. Pacific went 2-1, St. Clair 1-2 in pool play. Neither team made it to the bracket playoffs. St. Francis Borgia splitting a triangular meet on Saturday. They beat Rockbridge 3-0, lost to Mater Dei 3-2. In the Gateway matchup tournament at Oakville, Washington beat Lutheran South in the first round of bracket play, then lost to Narings Hall 2-0 to be eliminated. Bourbon JV tournament, Cuba defeated Houston in the semifinals. Plato beat Bourbon. For third place, it was Houston over Bourbon, and Plato beat Cuba to win the tournament. At the Union JV tournament, it was Washington over Union. For first place, Herman finishes third. And boys soccer at the Hillsborough tournament, Pacific takes seventh place, beating Fredericktown 4-1. Lutheran South over Washington 2-1 for third place. At the Union JV soccer tournament, Washington and Union tied 1-1. Washington takes the championship on the tiebreakers. At the Gans Creek Classic Cross Country meet in Columbia on Saturday, in the white division, out of 226 runners, Emily Willman from Sullivan finishing fifth overall and setting a new school record. Sullivan finishes eighth as a team. Lauren Halmick, Adia Halmick, Michelle Gossett, Kate Tomier, Melody Brodinger, and Olivia Hewitt also running for Sullivan. Sydney Grubb of New Haven was their top finisher. In the girls blue division, out of 245 runners, Eileen Lindbergh from Owensville was eighth. Top finisher for Union was Ella Coppinger in 33rd. Katie Prada from Pacific was 82nd. Courtney Diaz from Steelville 84th. In the team score, Steelville finishes 26th, Owensville 28th, and Pacific 29th. In the boys white division, Aiden Kirk from Sullivan finishing in third place with a new school record. New Haven finishes 10th as a team. Hunter Talent and Logan Williams were their top finishers at 30 and 32nd. Abram Denny, Walker Hardy, and Studdard also running for Sullivan at Gans Creek. In the boys blue division, out of 289 runners, Connor Diaz from Steelville finishing 12th. Gabe Hochul from Union was 18th. Colin Haley from Pacific was 93rd. Felix Guerrero, Owensville, their top finisher at 105th. Union finishes 16th place as a team. Steelville in 20th. Owensville 27th. Pacific 36th. In the boys JV race for the blue-white combined, Trevor Shockley from Owensville 17th. Tristan Davis of Owensville 20th, as Owensville took 6th place in the team standings. The St. Louis Intercollegiate Athletic Conference announced that Cody McKinney from Sullivan was named the men's golf player of the week for last week. He won the award after shooting a career best 4 over par 146, which led to an 11th place finish at the John A. Logan Invite. He is the first Fonbon men's golfer to win the award since 2019. Looking at the local schedule for today, JV football, Pacific at Sullivan is a 6 o'clock start. Valley Catholic at Borgia, St. James at Cuba, Herman at Owensville, Union at St. Clair, all 5:30 kickoffs. Washington at Fort Zumwalt South for a freshman game at 4 o'clock. Varsity softball today, Rolla at Sullivan is our broadcast game. Pregame at 4:10, first pitch at 4:30. New Haven will be at Bell at 5. Borgia at Webster Groves, Cuba at Herman, Owensville at Fatima, St. Clair at Warrenton, St. James at Lakeway, North County at Cuba, all 4:30 starts. High school volleyball, it'll be Sullivan at Rockwood Summit, Viburnum at Bourbon, St. Clair at Salem, all starting at 5 o'clock. And the Herman tournament gets underway with play in Pool A. Pacific and Owensville at 4, Borgia and Herman JV at 5, Herman JV and Pacific at 6, Borgia and Owensville at 7, Owensville and Herman JV at 8, and Pacific and Borgia at 9. The Pool B play will be on Tuesday, with the bracket play coming up on Thursday at Herman. No boys soccer action on the schedule for today. In girls golf, the Four Rivers Conference Tournament, Pacific, St. Clair, St. James, and Union playing today. Borgia at St. Dominic for a dual meet at the Golf Club of Wentzville at 3:30 this afternoon. In cross country, St. Clair is running at Ellsbury at 4 o'clock today. In middle school girls basketball, play gets underway tonight in the Herman 7th grade tournament. St. James plays Pacific at at 5, followed by Union and St. Clair at 6:15. Herman and Washington at 7:30. Owensville plays Sullivan Tuesday at 5 in a first-round matchup. At the Tom Todd 8th grade tournament in Washington, St. James and Pacific at 5 o'clock tonight. St. Clair and Washington 6:15. Owensville and Herman at 7:30. Sullivan opens up against New Haven at 6:15 on Tuesday night. Sports on the air, high school softball today. Rolla at Sullivan, 4:10 pregame and 4:30 first pitch. Then Blues hockey tonight, taking on the Dallas Stars, 6:30 pregame. They'll drop the puck at 7:10. Both those games on 102.1 KTUI FM. That's your look at sports on this Monday. This is Bobby D.
Thank you, Bobby. It's 28 minutes in front of 8 o'clock. I'm Sam Scott. Glad to have you along this morning, and it's 66 degrees. On the phone line with me this morning is the 3rd District Congressman from the state of Missouri, Blaine Luetkemeyer. Sir, good morning to you. Oh, good morning, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
There we go. All right, so Congressman Luetkemeyer, it's been a little while since we talked. How are things going for you?
Well, we just staying busy. It's an interesting time with with all the stuff going on in Washington, and this week should be interesting with the different bills that the Democrats are going to try and push through the House. That most of them will not work in the Senate, so we'll see how Pelosi does.
So we hear all kinds of things out here, but on a lot of stuff, I guess the $3.5 trillion budget or whatever. I mean, they're getting some pushback from some of their own people, aren't they?
Yeah, that's a particular bill that probably will not pass, even if it passes the House, which I don't know how she's going to pull this off, but if she does, she's going to actually, throw her majority over a cliff, because there's a bunch of folks that are going to lose their elections if they vote for that. Same thing with the increasing in taxes that's in some of these bills that she's working on. And those bills, when they get to the Senate, will not go anywhere. The only thing that they can pass over there is reconciliation, which will have a combination of some of this stuff in it, but it will be nothing compared to what they actually are trying to get through. And so even in the Senate, there's probably enough Democrats to kill all these bills. So we'll see what she does. I know it makes for great headlines, and it makes for her to look like she's really a powerful lady by making sure she gets all these bills passed. But whenever you don't have a chance to pass them in the Senate, it's an exercise in futility, and what you've done is make your own members walk the plank. And she's making a lot of her members walk the plank, which they will be pushed off the end of it come next fall. That's just the way it's going to work.
So tell me, what is it like right now for you and other members of the Conservative Party to go into session? What are you guys thinking when you go in there? Are you just trying to block stuff, or?
Yeah, we're trying to make sure that our voices are heard, that you point out the problems with these bills. For instance, the infrastructure bill, which is not a bad bill on one aspect, because it's got about $400 billion worth of stuff that's actually good stuff. The balance of the bill, about $700 billion of it, is not paid for, and it's not good stuff. It's all Green New Deal stuff that the liberals want, not even some of their own members want, but they make these bills they tout these bills, the aspects that they like, that they think they can go sell to the public, and then it's our job to go explain to people that, whoa, this is what's really in this bill. And we do that with all sorts of different things, whether it's getting on TV or radio like this today. You have op-eds, you have newspaper articles that you write, as well as get up on the floor. And we have a team of people on each one of the bills that we work with to go after the other side on this and explain the negatives in these bills, so that people who would be watching, and in the press who could be watching, gets the message that this is a bad deal. So it's our job to be the loyal opposition and point out the flaws and foibles in these bills, and that's what we do.
So
they have the votes, man. They've got the votes, so they're going to be responsible for everything that they pass, because it's going to be all passed with all their votes. And they're the ones who are going to have to go back home and answer to their constituents on why they pass higher taxes. And the tax increase they're talking about is the highest tax increase in history. $3.5 trillion worth of new social programs. Are you kidding me? the last time somebody told me there was a number of 41 new programs in there, and of course, anything that's close to eternity is a federal program. So once they get them in place, it's going to be almost impossible to get them out. So this is their wish list of things to do, and so they're going to push and push hard. So the American people need to understand that, when we vote against this stuff, it's to protect the future. There may be a few good things in there, but the balance of these bills are really, really bad.
So I haven't had a chance to talk to you since the pullout of Afghanistan. What were your thoughts on this?
Well, very disappointed in the way it was done. I can understand that we needed to be continuing to work with the existing Afghan government to try and get our soldiers out and minimize our presence there. But it's pretty obvious that the Taliban government and their army were not ready to have us do that, number one. Number two, the way we did it was just basically a cut and run, where we left American citizens and American about $85 billion worth of American military equipment there. $85 billion. That means we've just created the largest terrorist sanctuary in the world and have armed them to where they may be about the fourth most competent military in the world. I mean, it's just unbelievable what we did. And then the last thing I want to mention is the Bagram Air Force Base. If you look at a map, China is not that far from Bagram, which is in the northeastern part of Afghanistan. It's just a few hours flight northeast from there. And on that western side of China is where they have their nuclear testing facilities. So we could from that strategic position be able to watch China, but we gave that Air Force Base up. It's amazing. And then people say, well, we need to get out. Well, we still have soldiers in Germany. We still have soldiers in South Korea. We still have soldiers in Japan. To maintain a presence and be able to logistically have places around the world where we can watch other countries, or where we can logistically be able to move men and material around. So it was a very strategic base that we gave up, and for nothing. I mean, we traded nothing for this. And then we wound up losing 13 soldiers because of the ineptitude of the administration in the way that they designed the withdrawal. These people have no regard for anything. Human life is meaningless to these people, and to put those soldiers in harm's way, they knew this was a really dangerous position, and the way they did this, you should have gone out of Bagram to begin with. That's the most secure Air Force base in that country, and it is almost impenetrable the way they've got it designed. And then to put our men in harm's way is just unconscionable. So I really have nothing good to say about it, other than the fact that I guess we're out of there. But we did it at a huge cost to our national security, because now that the terrorists have a sanctuary where they can go to organize, as well as giving up the strategic Air Force base, and for what? And we're still concerned that we're going to wind up paying the Taliban for some money for some stuff. So we're watching it very carefully, because the administration is being very coy about when you ask them about that. Their responses are not flat. There's not a flat no. It's like, well, blah 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 this, and it's very concerning whenever they're not giving you a straight answer on a direct question like that. So very concerned about it, Sam. I think this is it's a really, really bad deal.
Well, Congressman, I guess the other big thing, of course, is the border. I saw a little story. I guess they took a Haitian refugee. They took them back someplace in Mexico or something like that and dropped them off. And the news said, so what are your plans now? And he said, well, I guess I'm going to try to make my way back to the United States. I mean, what's going on here?
Well, it's just a game of whack-a-mole down there at the border. Again, they had Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas on the TV yesterday on the talk shows, and he said they've got 12,000 of them in the country now, and could be as many as another 5,000 that they will have to come in. And basically, they're on the honor system. They're told to report to the local immigration office, and there's nobody that's going to escort them there. They just have to show up on their own, and I mean that is totally irresponsible a way to handle this whole situation. They flew some of them back to Haiti, but not very many. So, I mean, this is the Democrats are the party of open borders. They don't, and the hypocrisy of the whole situation is anybody else who flies into our country has to have a COVID shot, has to show that they are, in good health. And when these people come across the border, no such thing. So one place you need to be tested and vaccinated, and it has to be mandated. The other place, nope, just come on in and do what you want to do. I mean, it just leaves you speechless whenever you try and explain it to people, and they scratch their heads, and and people see this too. They see the hypocrisy of this administration's policies, and they're picking winners and losers, and they're getting tired of it. I mean, I can tell you from being out on the road a lot over the last couple of months here, they're tired of this nonsense. They're tired of being told what to do by their government without any sound science, without any sound reason for doing it, other than the fact that the government can just do what they want to do, and they're getting fed up with it, and they should be. This is nonsense. What's going on?
Well, Congressman, is there anything that's going on that we're not hearing about in the news that's important?
Well, you watch all of the things going on with regards to the vaccines and the mandates there. I think the economy is continuing to recover. It's not recovering as it should, although it's kind of a rocky, bumpy road forward. We have interest rates that are pretty stable right now yet, but we've got inflation that's really pretty rampant, and it's causing a lot of problems. Still don't have enough people going back to work to fill all the jobs. And as a result, there's a lot of businesses that aren't fully open yet. They're not at full production. They can't get parts. They can't get enough workers to provide the service. And so the economy, while people are getting out and they all want to go back to work and recreate and have do things they haven't been able to do for a year and a half, they're still in many places not able to do all that. So I think our economy is going to continue to make a slow recovery. Inflation is a genuine concern with all the amounts of money that are out there. The way inflation happens a lot is, too many dollars chasing too few goods and services, and you wind up with inflation, and that's where we're at right now. That's one of the reasons, although there's several reasons for it. But, higher energy prices are a concern. We've got, we should be energy independent, and yet, because of the policies of the administration, we now have cut down on permitting of drilling, and we have, up in the northern part of our country, we've cut the pipeline off. Where in Eastern Europe, we told the Russians to go ahead and build your pipeline into Eastern Europe and help the Russian economy to be able to grow and prosper. Makes no sense. If you connect the dots, it gives you an idea of really where this administration is. They don't seem to be wanting to support Americans and yet want to help all of our enemies. This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts what's going on. And so there's just, every segment of our world here, of our country's activities is being affected by nonsensical policies that are endangering us, putting us at risk in one way or another, whether it's our economy, whether it's our the medical community with all the way they're handling the vaccines and that sort of stuff. And international policy is just a disaster. So if you're trying to screw things up, I don't know if you could do a better job than what they're doing right now.
Well, Congressman, I appreciate you calling and letting us know what's going on, and keep up the good work, and we'll, I guess, talk to you again next month then.
Very good. You take care.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That is the 3rd District of Missouri U.S. Congressman Blaine Luetkemeyer, and we had slipped off and hadn't talked to him for a few months, and he's back. I think we're going to be talking to him each month that way. All right, 13 in front of 8 o'clock, and Bobby D's going to be making his way in here shortly. It's 66 degrees here at the studios of KTUI. Natalie Bell, Andrew I, Sandy Coppage, and Chase Perschbacher all celebrating birthdays today. Chase is 14. Andrew is my cousin's son, so whatever that makes him, my first cousin once removed or something like that. I don't know.
I have no idea how that works.
Bobby D's
too hard
back,
for me to figure out.
Back from the Great Pumpkin Patch.
Yes, and I also have a birthday to add to your list for today. Carol Large has a birthday today.
All right.
Someone just called that in. We appreciate that.
Yeah. So, Carol Large, happy birthday.
Yes.
Yes,
as you can probably tell by my face and hear my shirt. And
got a little
sun. Yeah. A couple of Saturday was really a nice day.
Yes.
Beautiful day. Yesterday was warm.
It was a little warm, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but this time of year, as the sun is lower in the southern sky, the air temperature can be very comfortable. The sun's still really hot.
Yes.
And there were absolutely no clouds in the sky either day. So a lot of sun was absorbed. I got my vitamin D.
Did a lot of pumpkins go out of the pack?
Yeah, the crowds usually the first weekend, especially, into September, don't have huge crowds, but we did sell a lot of pumpkins. Was really pleased with that.
Did you get the tractor you wanted?
I got a tractor.
A tractor.
Well, and it's actually, I got one of the smaller ones, so I didn't have to climb up in the big.
I see.
They have another. They had an older tractor there that'd been kind of sitting around for a while, and they got it running, and we used it. I had one of them from last year that I used, and then this other one the other driver used, and we've got another we've got 2 backup tractors this year, so we're and both of them are running pretty well, so we're in pretty good shape.
Well, Moretta, if you're listening this morning, the
pumpkin gooey butter cake.
There you go. Was very good. I thought I like pumpkin.
Yeah.
And so yes, it was very good.
Yeah, it was very well received by the staff.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Yes, several requests for recipes, and
I didn't taste any peanut butter in it though.
No, usually when it comes to pumpkin, usually the peanut butter takes a back seat.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I don't know if I've ever tried peanut butter and pumpkin together. Not to say I wouldn't.
No,
but I don't think she's ever put peanut butter in anything pumpkin, so may have to look at that as an alternative recipe. But usually makes at least one day of the weekend. She usually makes some sort of a treat to take out for the staff, and it's always highly anticipated and but well received.
So today is Ancestor Appreciation Day.
Well, we should.
Yes.
We wouldn't be here without them, yeah.
And by the same token, this is Family Day.
Oh, well, gee, how about that?
Yeah. Now, here we go. Morning Show Hosts Day.
Really?
Yes. All right.
Well, all your lobbying efforts finally paid off.
That's right. I think all you have to do is just fill out a thing on the internet.
Well, you didn't have to tell everybody that, Sam. I mean, we could have really built this up.
Yeah. This is National Chocolate Milk Day.
I like chocolate milk.
Yeah. National Corned Beef Hash Day.
I like corned beef hash.
National Crush a Can Day.
I've done that.
I crushed a can yesterday.
I did that several times over the weekend.
This is National Gay Men's HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. And, for a while, you couldn't hardly turn on the TV without seeing that, what was it, Truvada for PrEP?
Yeah.
And for a year or some that was on there to, help prevent HIV and AIDS and stuff like that. Then you didn't see it. Now there's one of those law firms that all we specialize in is people who took Truvada. And,
that's one of those things.
Dave.
Oh, no, Dave.
He said no one called him.
About what?
Pumpkin gooey butter cake.
Oh, well. And there's a good reason for that, Dave. I had 2 pieces.
Yeah, and I ate one.
Yep.
And I'm guessing you ate the other.
Yep.
This is also World Tourism Day.
Haven't been doing much of that lately.
No, and I don't really want to. I mean, I'd like to go.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to go to Australia. I don't know why, but for some reason.
Yeah.
But not right now. I can wait.
Tomorrow's a big day.
Okay, what's tomorrow?
National Coffee Day.
Oh, I see.
I think it's tomorrow. Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
So is it a good idea for the Cardinals to take a day off?
I was sort of thinking that myself. They don't have any control over the schedule.
I know.
I kind of was thinking maybe they could find somebody that had an off day that wanted to play, but I don't think the Major League Baseball allows that. They maybe could have had an exhibition game against St. Louis U or something. I don't.
What's the song? When you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah. I really hope they can continue to carry it on against Milwaukee. Now, Milwaukee clinched the division yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
I heard some people, maybe we can catch the Brewers. No, you're not going to catch the Brewers. But you can still beat them and make it look respectable. But
so 16 in a row. Cardinals have never done that before.
No.
But what's
I know Cleveland did 22 in a row in the American League. I think it was maybe the 2016 season when they made it to the World Series, either 2015, 2016. I know Oakland, I think they did 21 in a row, maybe 22 back in the day. If you've ever seen the movie Moneyball or heard of it, about Billy Beane and how he built the team and on the low budget. That happened that year that movie was based on. They had this long winning streak, with a bunch of no-name players at the time. But I think that may be. I did see something on Twitter the other day when they were referencing other winning streaks, but I don't remember off the top of my head, and I didn't have a chance to look it up before I came in. But I think there's only one longer winning streak in the National League, and that was by the New York Giants, and it may have been like 1951. I think they won maybe 18 games in a row, something like that. It was under 20, I know, but yeah, they're right there. I mean, hopefully, I'd like to see them win out myself and keep it going.
We had Mizzou, the Cardinals, and Saturday we snuck a Blues preseason game in there.
Yeah, not so good for the for Mizzou.
No.
Cardinals was good and Blues won. I'm cautiously optimistic about the Blues.
Are you?
I mean, they traded off Zach Sanford, and I always liked Zach Sanford. They got a young player. It was Jeff Brown. If you longtime Blues fans remember him, he was a defenseman for the Blues back in the day, and he was from St. Louis. Got drafted in 2016 by Ottawa, and one of those that he just kind of got to a certain point, never really, I don't think, fully developed there. Maybe needed to change of scenery. Blues needed to clear some cap space. They have brought in a couple of forwards as free agents, and they've got a couple of guys who are veterans that are on tryout contracts. That both the one of them had a hat trick in the exhibition game, and the other one scored. And they're longtime productive veterans, and so I think at the forward spots, Blues have got a lot of options.
Did I hear we brought one of the former coaches back to the front office?
Ken Hitchcock is a coaching consultant this year. I think they just kind of wanted to thank him for what he did for the franchise or something. And he'd been out of coaching for 3 or 4 years, and I don't know if he needed the money or was just bored or what the deal was, but they brought him back. And Kim was a good coach. I mean, it's no arguing that.
So if you need money, you should just apply to the Blues. Or
I don't know. I've thought about it. I don't know if they could find a spot for me or not, but I never played hockey.
I don't know anything about hockey.
Yeah, I know a little bit about hockey, but that doesn't mean they could find a job for me.
All right, let's see. We got pay a couple bills here, and we'll be back.
This is Nick from Schmidt Auto Center in Sullivan. We all know that this is a strange time for products and services in America and around the world. For us, the interruption in supply lines for new vehicles have driven up the prices of pre-owned vehicles up dramatically. This is not what Schmidt Auto Center wants for our customers, and I do my very best to find quality pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs at the lowest prices we can manage. If you don't see what you're looking for on our lot, contact me and I will find it for you. You can reach me at 573-468-2233, or you can look at our inventory online at schmidtautocenter.com.
Hey everybody, it's Laurie at the Secret Kitchen. We are so thrilled to be a part of the revitalization of downtown Sullivan. Stop in from Monday through Saturday for gourmet food and wine samplings. Don't miss the great selection of holiday decorations, fall for now and coming soon, all the cool winter holidays. Dare I say, it's time to start that gift shopping now that the kids are going back to school. You will want to see all the great gift ideas that we have at the Secret Kitchen at 10 West Main Street, Monday through Fridays 9 to 5 and Saturdays 9 to 3.
So what's this about the Chiefs?
Well, concern among Chiefs players and fans for head coach Andy Reid. Had to leave Arrowhead Stadium in an ambulance after the loss to the Chargers yesterday. Must have took it pretty hard. He did not feel well leaving the field. Special teams coordinator Dave Tube stepped in to handle a post-game news conference. I think he's just feeling a little bit ill at the end of the game. I believe he's fine. Everything's going to be okay. After the game, Coach Reid was feeling ill, checking him out now as a precaution. They're going to take him to the hospital just to make sure. They didn't release any additional details. They said he did speak with the team briefly before he left the facility, but they did say it was reported he left in an ambulance. Now, they said Chiefs players were not aware of his condition. Then a couple of players confirmed that when they addressed the team's loss after the game.